is distractions. Biggest mergers that have ever happened are happening right now. Biggest political upheaval, the biggest economical changes are happening. Stock market's dropping 800 points a day, rising 800 points, right? There's so many things to take us off of task. And my coaches keep me focused on what is our highest and best use of our time. And I've been doing it long enough where I've become borderline obsessed with this topic and love that you guys are here today. There's a lot of people that chose not to be here today. We need to be looking at our time like it's currency, like it's our money, like it's your income. To the next level of evaluating your time in terms of what is your dollar per hour? What is your 15-minute worth? What is your 30-minute segment worth? Breaking this down and knowing exactly what you guys are tripping over and what you're picking up on a daily basis. And what I mean by that is a lot of us trip over $10 bills to pick up dollar bills. We're humans. This happens. But at the highest levels, the things that we're focusing on are how do we shave 15 more minutes off of our day so that we can pour that into something that's going to produce a result? How can we shave 15 minutes a day, 2 hours a week to make an extra 10 grand a week? Those are the type of opportunities that we all have. Let me ask a question. And maybe some of you guys have heard this question before. Malcolm, can I call you out?
Always.
If I gave you $10 million today, would you accept it?
Yes, sir.
We can agree $10 million is a lot of money, right?
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
What would you do with $10 million?
I pay off my mortgage. I would set it up so I could get a interest rate where I'm living yearly financially free, and I'd be outrageously generous.
I like that. So it's life-changing money, right?
It would be life-changing money. Yep.
Would you still accept it if you knew you weren't going to wake up on Friday morning?
No, sir.
Megan, would you?
Yes.
Well, Megan didn't hear me. Some of us would say yes. We would just give it to our families and let our families live a great, great life. In
No, I
reality,
said yes. I
oh,
would. I'd give it to Jen.
most of us are going to choose another day over money. Most of us are going to choose another year, another life. And that shows us the importance of time over money. Now, if I bump that number to 100 million, maybe you guys are like, hey, this takes care of the next 8 generations of my family, Jackson. But my point is, if we don't wake up, our kids don't get to see us. Our spouses don't get to see us. Our teams don't get to see us. Our friends. Money is irrelevant without time. But most of us are racing around the world trying to earn more money, not trying to earn more time. So if you're on this call today, this is not just the next 30 minutes of your life. This is your life. This is what I care about you guys so much that I want to challenge you in a way that you look at your day in 15-minute increments and find ways to get more of those increments back. And here's the reality. We have a varying level of experience, of business, of net worths, of responsibilities. But the things that we all have in common, currently, we all have 24 hours in a day. We all get to wake up. We all get to spend those 24 hours exactly the way we want. And we all have choice. Now, the other thing is we're all full-time realtors.
Okay.
Thanks, Liz.
You bet.
We're all full-time realtors, which means we probably don't have other jobs. It means that we are fully committed to being real estate agents, which means 24 hours a day, we get to choose which hours we want to be real estate agents. And third, we all have some type of calendar. We all have the ability, Shemaya, to run our lives on a calendar, to schedule ourselves, and to commit to running ourselves on that calendar. Now, we're all human beings. So that phone call comes in, that lunch appointment comes up, that showing request comes in. A lot of times we're going to take that and we're going to go to that. We're going to let someone else dictate our time and make us reactive to our day. What I think about is how can I be proactive in a way where we can control the entire day, where I let people get into me when I want them to get into me, because I'm going to spend my time doing the most dollar productive activities. If I'm going to take my time away from my family and come to this office, I want to make sure I'm using that time wisely and not just throwing it away. Time is what we want most of, but what we use worst. Love this quote because we all can get tied up. I do this for like 30 minutes a morning. I get up somewhere in a time range that allows me 30 minutes to write content. But after I write that content, what do I do when I post it on Facebook? I scroll Facebook. And before I know it, my legs are numb because they're sitting up on an ottoman. Struggles of being 6'6", by the way. I just spent 18 minutes looking at cats and reels. And all of a sudden, I just allowed the day to interrupt me from being productive. This happens to all of us, you guys. So, of course, no one is perfect. Take care of the minutes and the hours will take care of themselves. Has anyone ever heard this? And it means if you take care of the minute that you have right now and you use it as wisely as possible, that over time, that will compound into successful hours. And when you have successful hours, that's going to combine into successful days. And that's going to combine into successful weeks and months and quarters and years. When I go to conferences and I see people like Tom Ferry, or I see people like John Cheplack, or I see many of the people that are more successful than I or us, I always wonder. And the thing that I'm most intuitive about is, how does that person spend their time? What are they doing differently than me to have a bigger result? Because we have the exact amount of time. And really all it is it's just trading. It's trading money for time over and over and over and over until you get to a spot where you can start hiring people and empowering people and creating leaders and creating leverage. Tom Ferry has just done that 10,000 times better than I have at this point in my life. And most of you guys too. Now, the last quote that I'll share that I love is Parkinson's Law. Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. We all know, like, our houses are a mess and we have guests coming over at 4 o'clock. Like, is our house going to be spick and span 4 o'clock yesterday? Or is it going to probably be us running around the house, doing last minute items, getting things picked up, cleaning the house right before those guests walk in? All of a sudden, we have a presentable house. It's the same thing with prospecting. If you give yourselves 2 hours to sit down and you're not disciplined enough to actually start prospecting at the start of that 2-hour time block, you're going to wait until the very last 20 minutes to try to squeeze in your 10 conversations. And you might have filled that previous time with Facebook scrolling, with talking, with sitting on the toilet too long. Whatever the things that we do are, it's taking us away from the most important thing. So one of the things that I learned from Jesse Itzler, and he was out at EXPCon this year, he gave one of the most impactful keynote speeches I've ever heard. Turns out he travels the country and he gives the same presentation to each audience around the country. So it wasn't unique to us, but it was awesome. You guys can go on YouTube, type in Jesse Itzler keynote, and you will see the exact presentation that I'm talking about. It's about 30 minutes long. You should absolutely watch it later today. Or even better, put it on YouTube while you're driving and just listen to it. What Jesse says, and Jesse came out with the, some of you guys know the big ass calendar. He says, put all of your most important things into your calendar first. All the things throughout the year that you want to accomplish. Do those things first. So the family vacations, the personal events. Zach might want to take 3 trips with his family this year. Take your year, put your events in there, and commit to being disciplined enough to not schedule anything over those. By the end of the 12 months, you will be able to say you took your family on 3 vacations. And guess what? Parkinson's law is going to kick in, and you're still going to get all your work done. But the danger in this business, and I did this for 6, 7 years, I just worked through the entire year. I just kept going. I just kept making money. I forgot to take a step back. 3 years in a row, we didn't go on spring break. And what do I have to show for it? Nothing, because we didn't have any experiences, because we forgot to schedule them. So number one, take care of yourself and your family first. Put all of these things into your calendar. If your team has a Tuesday meeting and you know that that's an important thing for your company, schedule your Tuesday meetings in your calendar now. And just know that for every Tuesday the rest of the year, from 12 to 1 o'clock, you're scheduled. Parkinson's law will pick up the rest. And so the golf trip that you've been wanting to take, Jackson, schedule it. The trip to Michigan this year, Erica, schedule it, right? We have to do those things first. Don't put off your personal goals because of business. Which I just covered a lot of this. Yeah, by the way, anniversaries. If your wife has a birthday or an anniversary and you come home at 8 o'clock, I hate to say it, you're a shitty spouse. You should have planned better. You should have blocked off some time to spend meaningful time together. And all of this can be done ahead of time if all we do is put that into the big ass calendar up front. And like for 4 or 5 years straight, I was the guy that I just described. Monthly, one of the habits that I have is number one, I do an audit of the numbers, the P&L of our company at the end of each month. I do that with Liz. Sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes 2 days, sometimes it takes a week. But what I also do in tandem with that is I schedule out all of my most important things. So like this webinar that we're doing today, we put that on the schedule. Parker is now booked from 11 to 12 on Thursday to be here with you guys. I put all of my most important commitments in there. My workouts in the morning, 7 to 9 every day, blocked out. My phone's on do not disturb. I don't take any meetings before 9:15. I block that out because I know how important it is to me. So I'm hammering this one right now on you guys, but please look at your year. Don't look at the day. Don't look at the week. Look at the year and put all of your most important stuff in there first. We will fill the rest of the time. I promise that. Okay, next. We've got a couple agents on this call that really need to hear this. The easiest way to be productive, the easiest way to build momentum is to do the most important things first. So, Jamie, I'm not picking on you, I'm just looking at you. If we knew that the 3 most important things in Jamie's life were, number 1, his family, number 2, going on appointments, and number 3, prospecting or working in his business to create appointments. Those 3 things need to be the first things that go into our calendar. Because guess what happens? If we don't put them in there, they don't exist. Jamie might go 2 weeks without prospecting. He might go 2 weeks just firing from the hip like a cowboy. Just, hey, client wants to see a house at 4. Okay, I'll be there. You're not feeling good. Okay, I'll just stay home. It's so easy when you don't have those commitments in place. So here, for most of us on this call, guys, we all have the same most important things. It's prospecting, it's meeting with clients, and it's family. Outside of that, it really doesn't matter.
Nope. Okay, but why don't you pose the question? What are the 3 most important things for the people on this call that if they got them done, they'd consider it a successful day?
Thanks, Liz.
You betcha.
And those responsibilities will change over time, by the way. As your business grows, as your family grows, as your relationships grow. What are some activities outside of what I mentioned?
Yeah, Blake, say them out loud.
Going on appointments.
Yeah,
Going on appointments.
for me, it's always been set appointments, go on appointments. The other stuff has always been blocking and tackling, and you can get caught up in it. And that's how I found myself historically riding the real estate roller coaster, because I would follow the deals. It's not that those things aren't important, but the most important thing I found was set appointments so I could then go on appointments and then find somebody else to help me with those other items.
Can't be making money if you're not in front of somebody or talking to somebody.
Maybe some kind of personal development or personal growth related activity.
Well, for me, I have to do at least an hour or two a day of listening to great podcasts that really just keep me in that mindset. And that goes along with my working out because I'll listen to it at the same time. And then I would say my biggest thing is always being around different groups of people, whether it's at the school, volunteering, PTN, because I find that that's where I really make my appointments and meet people. Yes, I still call people on my database, but being in community and just seeing people is where I feel like I've always been the most successful.
Thanks for mentioning that, Erica. I would argue our families and family dinner with kids is equally as important. But guess what? How many of us are guilty of saying, hey, honey, I have a buyer that wants to go see a house at 5:30. I'm not going to be home for dinner. Because again, we're tripping over tens to pick up dollars. That person might not even buy a house. And I say that because I did that for years, and I don't want you guys to do it. So daily, determine what your 3 most impactful activities are in your life. What are going to move the needle the most? Number 1, it has to be a 2-hour time block. Build it into a time of your day that works. Taylor, if from 10 to 12, you know that you're in the best mood, the most motivated, highest energy to prospect and make those calls to acquire new clients, that should be in your calendar every single day. And I pick out Taylor because I know he did that for years and probably still does it for years. Does it make sense for us to schedule that from 7 to 9 p.m.? No. I like to do a 2-hour block, a 1-hour block, and a 30-minute block. 2-hour is the most impactful. It's the highest, best use of your time where you need to be the most focused. The next one is a 1-hour block later in the day where you're not actively always outbounding, but it could be nurturing, it could be responding, it could be callbacks, it could be whatever it is. And 30 minutes, I have put into my calendar in certain ways to clear emails, to clear texts, to make calls, those type of things. I'm going to explain to you why in a second. Here's something we're all guilty of too. We all have these super cool iPhones that text and talk and all this all day. It's like we're wearing bulletproof vests. We're getting shot at. And those bullets are texts, they're emails, they're calls, they're spam, they're interruptions, and they're distractions. Most of us, the second one of those things rolls in, we respond. That person calls us to solicit us, we sit on the phone for 12 minutes. You get that email that pisses you off about your deal, and now all of a sudden you're in reaction mode. These are the distractions that are pulling you back from being your best. Versus controlling your time, saying, you know what, Taylor, instead of being responsive to everything on my phone, I'm going to schedule 2 30-minute blocks in my day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night, to get back to all of the people that have emailed me or texted me. Okay, not totally realistic, okay, because we all have varying levels. But what I do, I make it real simple. I don't do lunches, I don't do happy hours, and I very rarely do dinners with anybody. So, and yes, I am a freak, and you guys can think I'm socially awkward. I'm totally fine with that. I bring my food with me every day because I can spend 15 to 20 minutes eating the food that I brought and responding to people. I use that as a time to respond back and clear out some of those messages. So I do it for 15 minutes in the morning, typically around noon, and then sometime before I go home. Otherwise, we are just walking robots that just respond to people all the time. Does anybody ever feel that way? Maybe I'm coming off too
Yes.
strong.
You're not coming on too strong. We do. I know I feel like that.
Dana, have you ever gone through a day and you were like, I dealt with so much shit today, I forget what I even did?
Absolutely. Yes. And those are my least productive days because I was running after fires.
And what you're doing is you're reacting, you're not building.
Yeah.
Right? You're allowing everybody else into your life to control your time.
Well,
Yep.
and Parker, not only are you allowing somebody else to control it, but also anytime you have to stop and start and stop and start, you lose all sorts of efficiency. So what you could otherwise pack in an 8-hour day is now going to take you 10 or 12 because you've had to stop and start and remember what you were doing, right?
Yep. Well, a good example of this is anybody that runs a team that has an office. And I'm looking at Taylor again. So if Taylor's at the office and he's got all sorts of work going on and all the agents are in the office, he wants to be there with them. He wants to answer the questions. He wants to do the, do you got a minute? But if Taylor always does that, he'll never get anything done. So instead, we need to show and lead our people and everyone around us that we work off of a calendar and we have certain time blocks to be able to take care of those things so that we can devote our time to the things that really matter. Ever felt that way, Taylor? And hey, like, look, as leaders, like that's our responsibility. We got to be there for our agents, but at the same time, our agents want us to get stuff done too. They also want us to be building the business, being there for the team, and doing all of those things. Because if we're not there for ourselves, we can't be there for them. So this is like Wednesday, a couple Wednesdays from now, the 30th. This is my schedule. So I know what I'm doing 20 days from now. This is sometime in the morning. This is when I send all my check-ins and my accountability groups. And this is like, I don't know, 15 minutes of my day or so. I block off my time here. I also have on my calendar anytime somebody's onboarding with the team so that I can send a text out or I can do something meaningful. I eat, text, and email. And then I go into the most important activity of the day. So I like to clear that out before I'm going to go into the most important activity. Now, Brian might jump into this and say, hey, I had a crazy morning. I was taking care of my kids. I get to the office and all of a sudden you're just deleting emails and responding to junk and unsubscribing. And you're texting back the electrician and you're doing all this stuff. And within an hour, you're like, I haven't done anything. You just were reactive, right? I leave some gaps to always fill the holes. There's very rarely a day where I have the entire day booked. It just doesn't happen. I block for agent meetings. I have interviews. I have masterminds. If I don't have agent meetings, I can jump into those a la carte optional type things. But I number these 1 and 2 because those are the most important time blocks of the day. This is just how I do it. It's not the best way to do it. It's not the only way to do it. But it got us to where we're at today. And then, of course, I got to be at swimming lessons. Seeing your son look up at you after he just did something new in the pool is an incredible feeling. And it helps that they're just right downstairs, of course. But and then family dinner. So for you guys, block for agent meetings, this might be block for showings, block for listing appointments, block for prospecting or follow-ups if you don't have enough appointments on your calendar to keep you busy. These time blocks are impactful for us to be able to shut off the world and go do productive things to move that needle forward. And then, of course, I never let anybody schedule anything over one of these family-related items. And I would challenge you to do the same thing. I know it's tempting. I know that buyer that comes in that wants to see 800,000 in Plymouth at 4 o'clock and that's the only time they can go is enticing. But being the professional and controlling your time and really respecting your time is ultimately going to give you a more long-term win over that one-time showing. Who would like to give me a script in that scenario? How would you get that client comfortable to meet you at 6 versus at 4?
I have one, Parker.
Yes, Blake.
Oh, that's great. Let me just check on the availability with the seller and I'll see if we can circle back during 4 p.m. Just give me like 15 minutes. Actually, they've got 5:45 or 6:45. Which of those works better for you?
I love that. Are those the only options, Blake?
I've got one if you want, Parker.
Yeah, TK.
I'll do the options similar to what Blake said there, but I'll use a team member as an example. If they have a more appropriate time that's convenient for them, I'll say, hey, you can do 3 p.m. with me, or you can do 5:30 p.m. with somebody else that's available on my team.
That's really good advice. Great advice for anybody leveraging their time.
The other one I've used too, Parker, is, hey, Parker, I've got a previously booked appointment there. I can do 6 p.m. Does that work?
Let me check and get back to you, Blake. By the way, I also have tomorrow between 10 and 12 open too.
Yeah.
Or how about this one? I'm sorry, Tyler. I have swimming lessons with my son from 4 to 6. And I've made a commitment to myself that I don't miss those things. Is it okay if we go afterwards? It's my favorite because people are people. They don't want a black lab working for them, just following them, wagging their tail, waiting for the next move. They want someone to be in control. And being honest with them is legitimate. They're not going to probably turn around and say, I'm going to go back to the directory on Zillow because Taylor or Tyler can't meet me at 5 because his son has swimming lessons. Has anyone said that to a client and the client was like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. But it's so easy to say, you know what, I'll miss it. I'll take that appointment. So easy. I want to acknowledge that. All right, so every day, one thing that we can all do, because we all have the same 24 hours, is we can review our calendar the night before. There is real science to this, but when you visualize and when you're preparing for the next day ahead of time, you wake up more prepared and more ready for the day. When you wake up and you're like, oh shit, what am I doing today? You're clearly not as prepared. So I spend 5 minutes at the end of the day before I plug my phone in. I look at my schedule. I kind of sit there. I kind of visualize like, hey, I got this agent coming in from this brokerage. I'm going to be leading this training. This is what I want to wear. This is how I want to feel. And I kind of put myself in that moment so that when I wake up, I'm just there. This is why Mark Zuckerberg wears a black t-shirt every day. Because he doesn't want to spend 5 minutes picking out new clothes every day. As crazy as that sounds, that's what billionaires are thinking about. So, one thing, even if you're Leo Merman, schedule 3 most important activities per day first. Put it in your schedule. 2 hours for new business, 2 hours for servicing, and 2 hours or more for your family. The time killers. You'll learn to absolutely despise the time killers. Because every time somebody is taking your time, they're not only taking money, but they're taking something you can never get back. That's the way I look at it. Responding to emails and texts all day, proactive versus being reactive. If you guys could simply get yourselves in a situation where you're looking at email for 15 minutes in the morning, at lunch, and at the evening, and you don't check it in between, you're going to maximize your productivity. I would say you're going to 10x your productivity. And what you'll start to realize is that those emails that come in don't actually need responses right away. Very few things need your response right away. Very few. Lunches, dinners, happy hours. Now look, I understand people are not socially awkward like me, and they don't do these things, or they do these things. Some of you need to take lunches and dinners and happy hours to connect with clients and agents and do other things. That's okay. I just choose not to do them. At where I'm at with my time and my 24 hours, it's just not something that I schedule. Another thing that we can all commit to doing, not scheduling over your time blocks, not allowing somebody else to manipulate your time. And this all is just allowing us to operate from a position of control rather than a position of being reactive. So if you're asking yourselves, like, how does Tom Ferry do it? How does Brian McWhite do it? How does Taylor Kelty do it? How does Liz do it? How does Liz run a company that sells 2,000 homes a year? It's all choice. And it's just compounding choices over time. And it's using our time wisely. And everybody here, guys, everybody can be a little bit better. No one has mastered it. Okay, let me get out of full screen here. How have you in the last, let's just say 6 months, 12 months, as you've developed your business, how have you started to buy some of your time back? What are some other techniques that we haven't talked about?
I can start, Parker.
Yeah, Blake.
Some of the things that helped me, and this is something easy that everyone can do, is go to your screen time on your phone and just see how much time you're actually spending and where you're spending it. You'd probably be surprised. It was very convicting for me the first time I did this and realized, oh, yeah, that's a lot of time on Instagram. That's a lot of time on YouTube. That's a lot of time on, it's not a lot of time on my Bible app. It's not a lot of time on my follow-up boss, you know. So it was just kind of convicting. One of the things that really helped me too is, you touched on this, Parker, is how can you show up better the following day? I put the sleep time notifications on my phone at 8 p.m. And so it just shuts down at 8. You can still get it, but it's your phone's not pinging and receiving and all of these other things. Also, this might be a little forward, but if you have push notifications from any social media thing on your phone, stop. You're seeing all these likes and all these things just pinging throughout all the day, catching your attention. Grow up. Take the push notifications off of Instagram, off your phone.
Well, to add
And
to that, Blake, too, one of the things that we work on is when we make a post, I'm speaking for like Blake and I too, and really anybody that is in our circle here, we make a post and then we leave the post. Like, we don't go and sit on the comments and the likes to see how it performs. Typically, my rule on that is post and then come back 24 hours later. Because it's so easy to get sucked into that. It's so easy to second guess yourself. And as Beth said in the comments here, she took social media off of her phone, probably saved her 30 minutes a day. And so you can still go on the computer, make your post, come back 24 hours later, but you're not just attached to it the entire time.
I love that. And when I say grow up, I had to say grow up to myself. I hold that a mirror up to myself for sure. And then the last thing I'll just kind of share, and then I'll hop off here, is for that I set expectations when I connect with people, or sellers or buyers or agents or anyone. I go, hey, Melissa and I, we turn into pumpkins about 8 p.m. So if I don't get back to you, you'll hear from me first thing in the morning around 7. So if I don't answer, it's because I'm out like a light. So they're like, oh yeah, of course, go to sleep. You don't need to text me at 1 a.m. about my offer or anything like that. So that helped me a lot, because I was definitely I would stay up and just Of course, I definitely understand your listing remarks aren't correct, and I will definitely get those, you know, at 11:45 at night, and it's just took all my time. So
I don't think
Everybody
so.
should,
Oh, go
everybody
ahead.
should know what their time is worth too. So I've shared this before, but if you take your income on your tax return from last year, whatever that number is, and divide it by 2,000, that's your dollar per hour worth. So if you made 200,000, for example, divided by 2,000 working hours, it's about $100 an hour. So a lot of you guys are at that level or higher on this call. Think about that the next time that you're grinding in Canva, like editing photos, shading out gray areas. Like you could hire somebody for $20 an hour to do that. Any time that you're spending away from your highest dollar per hour activity is actually taking money out of your pocket. It's really crazy. Do that exercise, you guys. Snow removal. Yes, lawn. I used to be a lawn, I had a landscaping company called Go-To Guys. I love cutting grass. It's like therapeutic and fun if you're on a zero turn mower and not a walk behind handheld. But I come home and I'm like, am I going to spend the next hour of my night cutting the grass while my kids are inside playing, or could I pay somebody $75 to do that? Luckily, I'm in a spot to be able to pay somebody $75 to do that. But the control freak in me that would normally say, well, I'm actually the best at cutting grass because I used to do this professionally, is the same thing as you saying, well, I'm actually the best at creating the Canva graphics because nobody knows my brand like I do. And there's just many little trade-offs throughout the day.
can I really quick touch on this, Parker? Now that
Yeah.
you're bringing up this stuff, about 6 months ago, we hired somebody to just come over on Wednesdays and Sunday mornings to do our laundry and put up our laundry. And now we have our whole Sundays together, and Melissa and I my life is so much better because I'm not putting up laundry for like hours. I know that might sound odd to some of you guys, but now I get to spend it with Melissa. We get to go do whatever we want. We get to go to Shield. What do you want to do? I don't know. We have all this time because we're not sitting in front of the TV, like going, will you put up the laundry? You know, all of this stuff. So I love it.
Yeah, I think I'll leave you with this. So one of my mentors, John Cheplack, tells me, Parker, hey, it's so easy to get shiny object syndrome. It's so easy in this business to go and try this or buy this or create this new program. He goes, how about we check back in with ourselves first? Are we optimizing our current processes? Are we using our CRM to the fullest? Are we using our time to the fullest? Are you controlling your calendar to the fullest? Because if you're not, it doesn't make sense to go buy or try this new thing if you haven't optimized what you're already doing. And what we're talking about in this call could be the difference of you buying back another 2 or 3 hours a week of your time. And do that over a year. That's like 2 weeks in Hawaii that you just bought back if you wanted to. So I love John for that reason, because he's so simple and he just reminds me, come back to what matters most, which is what we can control. Versus like, hey, let's go start this or do this, or let's buy this new or cut that, or you know, it doesn't help us. All right, any last questions? Appreciate everybody. If I can ever be of service, please reach out. Appreciate you all showing up today.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thanks, Parker.